Look, we all heard Not Like Us this past year. It's essentially burned in our brains at this point. But what didn't get nearly as much play was the not-so-radio-friendly Meet the Grams, a scorching deconstruction of Drake's persona through 4 verses written like a personal letter to each one of the Grams' family members. And while Not Like Us is the better hit single and both are pretty vicious takedowns, I still have to go with Meet the Grams for just what a vividly dark picture it paints with this narrative. Starting with addressing the child we first knew about that he wanted to hide.
Dear Adonis, I'm sorry that man is your father, let me be honest. It takes a man to be a man, your dad is not responsive.
And really laying in on deep lore about Drake to undermine him as a father figure.
Let me be your mentor, since your daddy don't teach you shit. Never let a man piss on your leg, son. Either you die right there or pop that man in the head, son.
Yeah, for those that don't know, this is a reference to when the rapper T.I. told a story about one of his drunk friends pissing on Drake at a movie premiere. However, since there's a popular aphorism that goes, "Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining," it also doubles as a way of communicating the idea that you should never let someone lie to you about something they're doing to you that's actually disrespectful. So not only is Kendrick embarrassing Drake in front of his son, he's also actually giving him sound advice in the process.
Don't be ashamed about who you with, that's how he treat your moms. Don't have a kid to hide again, be sure.
And of course he brings up the bombshell Pusha T dropped about how he was hiding his kid from the press, so only this time as a cruel cautionary tale delivered to his son's face. But it really pops into third gear when he drops the accusation that Drake is hiding other children that Kendrick is here reaching out to.
Dear baby girl, I'm sorry that your father not active inside your world. He don't commit too much, but it's music, yeah, that's for sure. You lied about your son, you lied about your daughter, huh? You lied about them other kids that's out there hoping that you come.
So, when you really lay back and look at how Kendrick switched gears in this diss from the first two, 616 in LA and Euphoria, they end up coming off as tame by comparison. Like, oh, you thought bringing up the kid we already knew about was foul? Nah, Drake, I have not yet begun to expose your baby mama dramas.
You go hide them baby mamas, ain't you? You embarrassed of them. That's not right, that ain't how mama raised us.
And I think it's funny to point out that this all turned ugly because of Drake feeling so apparently incensed about this line from Kendrick's first diss track, Euphoria.
I got a son to raise, but I can see you don't know nothing about that. Waking them up, know nothing about that. Then tell them to pray, know nothing about that.
Because that's apparently what prompted him to say this line.
You mentioned my seed, now deal with his dad, I gotta go bad.
That's what starts Drake's Family Matters track where he lays out his dirt on Kendrick, prompting Kendrick to drop Meet the Grams not a half hour later. But I'm sorry, can we look at that line again?
I got a son to raise, but I can see you don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, let's be clear here. He's obviously not making fun of Drake's kid with that line. It's not like he's saying the kid's ugly or bad at drawing album covers or something. He's specifically picking on Drake's behavior in relation to him initially trying to hide the info about the kid he had with the sex worker he knocked up that he was clearly ashamed of getting out to the public. And just to make a deviation here, this actually echoes a similar way the Pusha versus Drake battle played out that brought all this to light in the first place. Cause if you wanted to, you could say, hey, it doesn't matter what context, you brought up a family member, so it's gloves off. Well, in fact, the reason Pusha T says he exposed Drake the way he did was because of this line where Drake brings up Pusha's wife's name in Duppy Freestyle.
I told you keep playing with my name and I'ma let it ring on you like Virginia Williams.
Which, let's be real here, this is a pretty innocuous lyric. At the most, you could say it's stepping up to a line by mentioning them in the first place, sure, but it never actually directly insinuates anything like cheating or abuse. It's certainly nowhere near the level of, I'm gonna equate you saying my wife's name to me spilling all your private domestic issues. Now, I'm not saying you can mention family members in just any kind of way. For contrast, again, if we look at the 50 Cent and Ja Rule beef that Eminem got involved in, what was the line M references as the reason he had to jump in? It's when Ja said this on his track Loose Change.
Damn, you claim your mother's a crackhead and Kim is a known slut, so what's Hattie gonna be when she grows up?
That wasn't just mentioning family, that was a pretty direct insinuation about his kid. Which is to me why lines like just mentioning someone's name or actually calling out his behavior and treating it like it's about his son, that's the type of pivot that, when looked at zoomed out, really comes off like you were feeling like you were on the back foot in the battle and wanted to air Kendrick's dirty laundry out, but needed the excuse of, well hold up, Kendrick just made it personal by bringing up my son, so now I'm well within my rights to take it further. And what's hilarious to me is that, nigga, we all knew about the first baby mama, so to get your panties up in a bunch over mentioning that, knowing damn well he had much worse info he could launch at you, Drake, why would you risk it? But I think I know why, though. Think about when Kendrick dropped Meet the Grams again. Only 30 minutes after Drake's video premiere for Family Matters, where Drake specifically informed all his sycophant streamer friends about it so they'd react in real time to the drama of the scorching revelations. But whoops, Kendrick dropped his shit less than an hour later when all those streamers are probably still streaming and gonna be even more psyched to see Kendrick's response to Drake's shit already dropped. And when you hear the mind-warpingly intricate details he drops on Meet the Grams, yeah, bar for bar, it's just way more hard-hitting as a diss track. And what's so cutting about the presentation of the track is that parts of it don't even sound spiteful spiteful. So much of it feels like him pitying how bad Drake's life is going. That's what makes each dart sting that much harder. The fact that it doesn't sound like he's picking on Drake to be mean. He's tearing into this shit because he feels genuine pity for the situation. So when Kendrick says this to Drake's kid about him being absent,
but that's the life he's used to. His father probably didn't claim him neither. History do repeats itself. Sometimes it don't need a reason.
Yeah, that doesn't sound malicious, does it? It sounds like authentic concern and condolences to the kid. And which hurts worse? Someone you can tell is ripping on you because they want to hurt your feelings, or someone who sounds like they're genuinely pulling apart your flaws because they feel sorry for your life being so shitty and they want you to get better. That shit, that's what hurts feelings. And we could be here all day dissecting just how great this song is line by line, but I want to try to get this out before end of January, so let's just hone in on what I consider to be the top 5 most savage bars on the track.
You got gambling problems, drinking problems, pill popping and spending problems, bad with money, whorehouse, soliciting women problems.
Like, holy shit, the way he rubbed his nose in his vices with this shit was goddamn heart-stopping. Because again, it genuinely plays as someone trying to shit on him, but also like a disappointed father ashamed to see what his kid has become. Someone get that nun from Game of Thrones in here already.
Yes, he's a hit maker, songwriter, superstar, right? And a fucking deadbeat that should never say more life. Meet the Grams.
And this line was fucking crushing, taking one of Drake's album titles and turning it into a reference to the kids he keeps making. Like, nigga, how dare you say more life when you not taking care of the more lives you keep bringing into this world?
Cause you lied about religious views, you lied about your surgery, you lied about your accent and your past tense, all is perjury.
Just this whole string of call-outs.
You lied about them other kids that's out there hoping that you come. You lied about the only artist that can offer you some help. Fuck a rap battle, this a long life battle with yourself.
And oh my God, the way he flips the perspective at the end of the battle was just so goddamn masterful. Like, nah, this ain't Drake versus Kendrick. This is actually a psychological dissection of Drake's persona coming down on his head because he fucked with the wrong person. Also, notice how Kendrick then goes in on all the things Drake has been called out on social media for lying about, and then tops it off with refuting any and all the accusations Drake tried to levy against him with that one line at the end. Because, hey, if he's lying about so much of all this other stuff, guess he's definitely lying about that too, huh? Just ad hominem in his ass like a motherfucker. But the absolute most gut-punching delivery of lines is when he talks to his parents.
Drake's the horrible fucking person, the nerve of you, Dennis. Sandra, sit down. What I'm about to say is heavy. Now listen. Your son's a sick man with sick thoughts. I think niggas like him should die. Him and Weinstein should get fucked up in a cell for the rest of their life.
I feel like I'm staring into the abyss when I hear this shit. Just the way it sounds like such a genuine expression of seething hatred, and it leads into the most piercing part of the whole song.
I've been in this industry 12 years. I'ma tell y'all one little secret. There's some weird shit going on, and some of these artists be here to police it. They be streaming hunting victims on the side of their home and calling them tender. Then leak videos of themselves to further push their agendas.
Now here's my thing. A lot of people have speculated about the origins of this beef. Articles you'll find online will pinpoint some lyric where he mentions Drake offhandedly in a BET freestyle or something, and treat that moment in and of itself like it was a powder keg that instigated the initial bad blood between them, but I'd beg to differ. Cause none of those articles ever seem to be able to nail down a real motive for the hate. What negative interaction was the actual catalyst that made them be at odds with each other? Cause if it was just about real conscious hip-hop versus the watered-down, uncreative mainstream rap like so many people keep framing this beef as, well, why doesn't Kendrick have that same level of animosity towards Future, the guy he did the track with that kicked off this whole volley, or any other mainstream rapper in the last couple of years? Sure, Future's not trying to be as lyrically respected like Drake wants to be, but the point remains, they both are responsible for pretty mid-mainstream pop rap music, so that alone can't be the inspiration for the pure vitriol Kendrick has for Drake. Nah, I think it's those aforementioned lyrics that really get at the heart of what Kendrick has against him.
I've been in this industry 12 years. I'ma tell y'all one little secret. There's some weird shit going on, and some of these artists be here to police it.
Cause about 12 years ago was the last real collab Kendrick and Drake did together. And I would posit that sometime after those collabs, 12 years ago, Kendrick got privy to some funny ways he saw Drake was moving and decided to no longer be affiliated.
They be streaming hunting victims on the side of their home and calling them tender. Then leak videos of themselves to further push their agendas.
And tidbits like this are a nod to the rumors that he had been using his team to rope in girls, allegedly including high schoolers, because apparently they wouldn't check for IDs, and letting his friends play hookup Tinder dates with him. When I hear these lines, I hear someone who sounds genuinely disgusted. Like, for legal reasons, because the boy Drake seems a little lawyer happy right now. I'm not gonna say I believe these allegations, but I damn sure believe that Kenny believes it. But even with that, like I said before, if you notice, Kendrick still didn't lay his business out on Front Street with the first 2 diss tracks, and he mentions as much in this song.
It's supposed to be a good exhibition within the game, but you fucked up the moment you called out my family's name. Why you had to stoop so low to discredit some decent people? Guess integrity is lost when the metaphors doesn't reach you.
Cause look, as harsh as Euphoria was, there wasn't any actual mudslinging in it. He didn't bring up anything people weren't actually already talking about. I mean, people say the Euphoria title was a nod to him being a executive producer on the show and maybe a nod to him being a perv, but that's background stuff that he didn't really say directly. Nah, lyric-wise, it was a good old-fashioned roast session, but the man was so goddamn good at it, you know that shit really got to Drake's feelings. And I think that heat, that obvious situation unfolding where it was clear Drake wasn't gonna win on lyrics alone, that got to him. So that's what really fueled him to use that reference to getting caught red-handed being a deadbeat dad as the scapegoat to pivot and say, oh, well, you brought up personal family stuff, so aha, now I can really dig into the stuff I heard about you. And I want to be fair to Drake and look at this like a sport, because, you know, he did get some good digs on Family Matters. It was probably the strongest track he dropped the whole beef. The lines about Kendrick's wife possibly cheating on him with the bodyguard. The lines at the end hinting that there may have been domestic abuse. Claiming that that's why they weren't currently on the same coast with each other when the track dropped. Hell, even the short jokes where he says,
He always said I overlooked him, I was staring straight. These bars go over Kenny head no matter what I say. I know you like to keep it short, so let me paraphrase.
I mean, that was just a solid roast right there. But as I pointed out in my first video when I put the lyrics against each other percentage-wise, the avalanche of rhymes Kendrick had at the ready and the magnitude of the accusations and sheer rhetorical venom of what Kendrick said on Meet the Grams alone, it just blew Drake out of the water. And in hindsight, it's crazy knowing what we know now, because from how things played out, Kendrick clearly had things planned far enough in advance to be able to drop a joint as soon as Drake had his ready. But then when he was able to drop a track the day after that, which packed just as powerful of a punch as the previous song and had threats on it that he might have even more shit under his belt at the ready, yeah, this wasn't even a fucking contest. Well, that's the episode. Leave a like if you like because it helps, comment if you have something to say because it helps even more, and hit the subscribe button because that's what helps the most. And if you want to make requests, of course, that's ko-fi.com/rapcritic for live stream requests for best ofs or album listens or song listens, and patreon.com/rapcritic to get all my content early and access to the Patreon Discord. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.